The iPad Pro M4 is the creative powerhouse I never knew I needed. This isn't meant to be a cliché, but today we'll have a chat about it. We'll discuss why I chose the iPad as my primary device when I am on the go, the tools and apps I consider essential for using the iPad, and my professional experience with it. For those who don't know, I'm Mattia, a freelance creator and filmmaker. So, why the iPad? I have to be honest, there was a time when, even though I had an iPad, I couldn't find any real use for it. It seemed like an unnecessary middle ground. The phone is always with us, it's convenient and often faster. On the other hand, when I needed to do something more complex that was impossible on the iPhone, I would simply turn on the Mac, which can do everything the iPad does and everything else. So I never really enjoyed it to the fullest until I discovered that I hadn't understood the iPad at all. A few months ago, I decided it was time to dive deep into the world of the iPad. I picked up the Apple Pencil Pro and the new Magic Keyboard. Did I absolutely need them? Probably not. Especially the new Pencil, I would say it's only worth it if you are a pro. If you are just jotting down notes or making quick sketches, you might want to check out some budget-friendly solutions. That will save you some cash and do the trick just fine. But here's the thing. I've always felt the iPad was designed to shine with these two accessories. Even though I'm no illustrator or copywriter, having a pen and a real keyboard makes a world of difference. Let me paint you a picture. Last week I had a gig photographing for an art foundation. I packed up all my gear, lights, camera, tripods, but the real game changer was my iPad with my Magic Keyboard. I used the Sony Creators app to control my Sony a7 IV remotely. I connected wirelessly to my camera, tweaking setting without a fuse. Nothing revolutionary, right? But being able to show the client their shots right after a session, total game changer. And with a handy little dongle for extra connections, I could even do some quick edits on the Lightroom app. It's practically the desktop version now. It might sound odd, but in these scenarios, nothing beats the iPad. It's lightweight, speedy, fits anywhere, and boasts an incredible screen. Now, the iPad has become a staple in my studio. It's just not a control hub for all the plex and lights scattered around, but it's also my read later assistant. Yeah, I made it up myself. If I come across something interesting during the day, I send it straight to my iPad. Reading articles and jotting down notes on the fly with the pencil helps me stay focused and absorb information better. As for editing, here's the scoop. I don't use the iPad for video editing. Macs are still my go-to for that. Quick fixes with apps like CapCut? Yes, but for anything more complex, a Mac just works better. However, photo editing on the iPad, that's a different story. Editing photos with the pencil is surprisingly enjoyable. Maybe it's because I'm used to doing it on a PC, but drawing directly on the photo feels almost like painting. It doesn't change the end result, but it makes the process way more enjoyable. That's why I love editing on the go rather than being tied to the workstation. And then there's a smart home management. My studio might not be finished yet, but I'm already making every outlet smart. My camera lights, for example, are controllable through the Sidus Link app by default. So the iPad has turned into a full-fledged control center for both inside and outside the studio. Using the Alexa app, I manage all my devices. And when I'm back in the studio, I pop the iPad onto this magnetic stand that turns it into a control app. I've teamed up with Cooksy for years, and I'm thrilled that they are sponsoring this video. Their latest magnetic stands for the iPad are phenomenal. There's a new feature that's a real game changer. I love gadgets that just work without fuse. You set up the stand, bring the iPad close, and it snaps into place with magnets. Plus, this stand charges the iPad, so you don't need any cables once it's set up. And it rotates and adjusts to almost any setup. I used it on my desk for a while, but now it's in my living room, serving as a mini screen for videos and creating ambience. So if you're interested, make sure to check out the description. And finally, there's probably the most important thing you can do with an iPad: entertainment. Working in the creative field means consuming more rather than producing. Lately, I've learned that it's very important to invest time in consuming content of any kind. Whether it's articles, books, videos, or movies, the iPad has always been ahead in terms of multimedia. For example, in the past few months, I've really enjoyed reading some educational newsletters. I've created a brief weekend routine where I catch up on all the week's newsletters, updating myself on some of the topics that interest me the most. I have populated my iPad's home screen mainly with large widgets that link directly to Substack newsletters and a shortcut I created that takes me straight to my YouTube Watch Later playlist, which I use a lot from my iPhone for videos I want to watch later. So yes, the iPad has definitely become an integral part of my workflow. It doesn't replace a laptop, but honestly, I don't think that was ever its goal. The iPad is meant to be an iPad. It's that device that completes the ecosystem, offering flexibility and power in a unique format without replacing anything else. It's the perfect complement, adapting to different needs and situations, making creative work more seamless and enjoyable. And as always, wishing you the best. See you soon.